Execute like a top 1% agent before you are one. Our identity, it leads behavior. And you need to execute from who you're becoming, not who you are right now. You don't become a top 1% agent and then you act like one. You act like one first, and then the results catch up. So let me say that again for the ones in the back of their minds still doubting themselves. Identity leads to behavior. You want the GCI, you want the referrals, you want the listings, you want the buyer pipelines overflowing with trust and clarity, but you're still waking up like an average agent. You're still prospecting like an average agent. That's if you're even prospecting at all. You're still showing up, hoping it works, instead of deciding it will. But today that changes. There's a mindset gap that kills 99% of agents. You know, most agents, they act from circumstance, they operate from circumstance, not from identity. They wake up in the morning and they ask themselves, how do I feel today? Do I have any leads? Is the market hot enough for me to win? Whereas those top 1% of agents, the questions that they ask themselves, what would the future version of me do regardless of how I feel today? How would that future version of me lead today? And how would that future version of me speak to clients, solve problems, and run this business? The average agents respond to the day. The top 1% agents design it and dominate it. You know, your identity, it drives your execution. Let me let me tell you a hard truth. If your identity is I'm just trying to make it, you'll act like somebody who's just trying to survive. You'll dodge those hard conversations. You'll avoid rejection. You'll skip your CRM. You'll skip follow up. You'll skip doing the reps that you need to do every single day to advance your career. But if your identity is, I'm a $1 million GCI agent in training, just haven't collected the checks yet, then everything changes. You wind up showing up early. You wind up prospecting while others are procrastinating or waiting to feel ready. You follow up like it's sacred. You listen deeply. You ask those hard questions. And you get uncomfortable on purpose. Because top producers, they don't avoid the tension, they use it to build trust. And that's where NEPQ comes in. NEPQ is the tool of future identity. NEPQ, the neuro emotional persuasion questioning, it's not just a script. It's not just some fancy talk. It's how the future version of you communicates with calm and with control and with confidence. You don't sell, you guide people to clarity with questions that peel back the layers just like an onion. You know, the top 1% of agents, they use NEPQ because they don't need to prove anything. The top 1%, they're not chasing. They're not begging for business. They lead their conversations with empathy and precision. Something like, can you help me understand what's prompting the move right now? What happens if nothing changes in the next 6 months? Is it more about the size of the home or the season of life that you're stepping into? See, these questions, these are the questions that change lives and win clients. Because when you ask questions like that, people feel seen. And when people feel seen, they take action, they move. There are a few behaviors that bridge the gap. So, how do you actually start to execute like a top 1% today? You know, here's the 5-part execution formula. 1, your morning mission. You need to lock in and execute on 3 non-negotiables before 10 a.m. You need to live in your CRM. You need to follow up. You need to do prospecting. And you need to have personal development daily. You know, number 2, NEPQ reps daily. Practice your questions out loud. Role play every week, if not every day. This is not optional. This is how you wire your identity in your mind. Number 3, call yourself out. Average agents, they lie to themselves. But the top 1% of agents, they audit themselves ruthlessly. You know, ask yourself, was that conversation about them? Or was it about me trying to close a deal? Did I rush the close? Or was I trying to help them reach a decision? Number 4, you need to have some future self check-ins. Before every call or appointment, think, how would my $1 million self show up right now? And then do that. Number 5 is your end of the day review. You know, I want you to write this in your notes. What did I do today that a top agent would be proud of? You know, do this daily and the future version of you, it won't be far off. So stop waiting to feel ready. You don't feel your way into action. You act your way into a new identity. Some of you people out there are stuck in the someday story. You know, someday I'll have a better pipeline. Someday I'll get coaching. Someday I'll start calling consistently. Someday I'll be that top agent. You know what? That's all bullshit. There's no someday on a calendar. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not someday. The top 1% execute as if they already are the top 1%. Not because they're faking it, the fake it till you make it, but because they're becoming that 1% in real life. So I'm going to leave you with this morning. No one's coming to save you. No one is coming to crown you king or queen. There are no titles. There are no trophies. No top producer email badge is going to make you become something you're not already living. So execution is the identity, and identity is a decision. So ask yourself this question this morning. Who do I need to become to deserve those results that I want? Then show up as that person every single day before the world gives you permission. Because the world, it doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most committed. So commit, show up, and execute like a top 1% agent before you are one. Peace.